In this video, we're going to use the property of logs to write the following expression as a single log, or as the logarithm of a single expression. But before we do that, let's talk about what the properties of logs are. The first property is log base b of xy can be written as log base b of x plus log base b of y. Notice on the left side, when it's the multiplication of two things, it's one log. And when it's addition, there's two logs. You might ask why. Well, the answer is because of the law of exponents. Because b to the n times b to the m, what do we do those? When we multiply two things with exponents, you add the exponents. We saw that in the very first chapter. Well, log is an exponent. So when you multiply two things together, you end up adding the two exponents. Just to prove this to you, I'm going to do a little proof. I'm going to let n equal log base b of x and m equal log base b of y. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these out of logs. If you remember, the b is the base, right? Log means exponent, so the first line means b, the exponent is n, equals x. And the second line is b is the base, that's the base, the m is the exponent, equals y. So now if I take x times y, that is b to the n times b to the m, and if we add those together, right, using our property of adding together, that of the y there, we see we add those two exponents. So I'm going to get this back out of logs. So the base is b, and the exponent is n plus m, so that's equal. So this is xy equals n plus m. But what is n? That's the log base b of x plus the log base b of y. And we have our property. So you can see it's very abstract, but the reason you take log base b of x times y, you add the two things together, is because when we dealing with multiplying two things with logs, we add exponents. So now let me erase this, and we'll do our second property. The second property is the log base b of x over y. Well, when we divide two things, what do we do with the exponents? Do you remember? We subtract them. So that's why the second property would be log base b of x minus log base b of y. And the third property is when you take an exponent, here's my exponent, to an exponent. What do? You multiply the two things together. So you multiply n times log base b of x. A lot of people just think bringing the n down. So that is the three properties of logs in this chapter. Okay, so we would like to go backwards and write this as a single log. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first realize that this 2 here, I can bring up and make it a, so I'll leave the first one alone. We can get rid of that 2 by making that a squared, just by going backwards. So you have a 2 here, it becomes a squared using that third property. And the same thing for this, I can call this y to the 4th. And then I realize the first 2 here, expressions, first 2 terms, are added together. So I can use the first property and bring it as 1. And by the way, the bases of these are 10 since there's nothing written. So I have that. Finally, I'm going to use my second property because I have subtraction here. I notice I have log of one thing subtracted with the log of something else. So I am going to then divide those two things. So I make it one log. On the left, it's one log. Log base 10, and the numerator is the first thing, and the denominator is the second. And that would be the answer. The answer is log of x cubed z squared all over y to the 4th.